Hey, everybody. Okay. Linus had kind of a tough 24 hours. Linus had to be neutered yesterday, something the Humane Society normally does. But this is apparently it happens in like 3% of animals, 3% of male dogs. The testicles don't drop. Like they're up inside the abdominal area. There's a condition, it's called, cryptorchidism. Cryptorchidism. I guess that's what it's called. It happens in a very rare amount of animals, but you need to handle it because they say that there's a risk of testicular cancer and blah blah blah. And so he went in and he had his his berries removed. His wedding tackle has been removed. And so he was pretty out of it all day yesterday. He spent most of yesterday right about here, except in my lap. We didn't get much work done yesterday. And he's still a little bit out of it. He's eating, he's drinking. We're starting to see that spark back in his eye. But whatever drugs they gave him for the operation, holy shit. What is it? How do I get some? So, but it's really for the best. It's for the best for him. He's going to have a healthier life. He has dramatically reduced a cancer risk. And it's the responsible thing, I think, for pet owners to do anyway. And the Humane Society has been absolutely amazing. By the way, before we get into the topic at hand today, they purchased the van, the Henry van, that everybody helped to fund. We were hoping for $15,000 raised in 5 days. We raised almost $35,000 in about 24 hours. It was amazing. Anyway, they purchased a van. They're working on the beginning of graphics for the van that will include Henry's photograph, and it will soon be out on the road. And they might be using it already, even though the graphics work is not done yet. And so it's going to be out. I will take photos and video for you to let you know how it's going. So, okay, he's going back in the lap. You want to lay on the floor, honey? He's not talking. All yesterday, he was just like, he looked like he just spent the whole day at Woodstock. He was just like, whoa, He's holding up his paw. He was like, whoa. And your heart breaks for him, because he's a little sore. But it's all right, my friend. It's going to be all right. So anyway, update on Linus. He is recovering. We're going to keep real close watch on him. Make sure that he doesn't lick. If he does lick, he gets the cone of shame. And we have one standing by. Believe it or not, they didn't have one small enough for the dogs, so they gave us one for cats. They gave us one for cats. And so if we have to use the cone of shame, we will, but he's been pretty good about not messing with his stitches. So, okay. Linus loves you. Thank you for the love you've shown. Linus, he's going back. You want to lay down, honey? He has one padded bed and then a blanket, and he's got like a kind of a padded throne. Chat is now on the side of the screen so everybody can see what everybody else is saying. So the topic today is, should we eat the stupid? Now, I'm struck a little bit by how often you say the word stupid in regard to stupid people. And there are some people who think that it's an offensive term. You don't call somebody stupid. And I understand how the word can be used to damage people. I mean, if someone makes an honest mistake, or if, they're a smart person who committed a stupid action, I understand the power of language. But there are some people in the world who are simply a few French fries short of a Happy Meal. You know what I mean? Many of them are intelligent in specific areas of their lives. And then in these other areas of their lives, they are essentially worthless to the species. I see it all the time. I see it in relationships. I'm thinking of one person. She is wickedly smart and beautiful and has the world by the tail. I mean, she could really do and be whatever she wants to be. And she has chosen as her life partner a guy who is essentially a human houseplant. I mean, gee, the world is your oyster. There are many, 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 many fish in the sea. You have all of these options out there, and you chose that guy. I don't understand it. Is it a project? Are you trying to fix him? Do you secretly have a self-esteem problem? Are you attracted to stupid? I mean, it's not just somebody you live and you learn and they're growing and evolving. I mean, this person is taking up air. He's taking up valuable oxygen that might be better enjoyed by the rest of us. So, Brian in the chat is saying, no, of course I'm not talking about people with specific and legitimate health or mental brain challenges, those types of things. I'm not talking about Down syndrome or autism. I'm talking about people that you and I have met in our lives who, if they come to the fork in the road and turning, let's call it left, is the prudent choice, the wise choice. And it's obvious to everybody that turning this other direction, this way danger lies, this way ruin lies. This isn't such an obviously bad choice that if you go down there, the only one who might be surprised that your life gets fucked up would be you. Okay? They come to the fork in the road and they just always go the wrong direction, and then they wail and moan about how shitty their life is. Well, you know, I understand life can happen to people, but I also understand, and I put this meme online, and let me just show it to you here real fast. I put this meme online, and, you know, to them, that some of these people might consider this controversial. I said, you know, everything happens for a reason, but sometimes things happen because you're stupid and make bad decisions. Well, first of all, I don't believe that everything happens for a reason other than everything happens because there is a cause. I don't believe in a divine reason. Everything happens the way it should. I'm not one of those people. But, you know, sometimes things happen because you're stupid and you make bad decisions. All right? And then you say, oh, the world has stacked the deck against me. It's terrible. It's terrible. Well, and that's true for some people. It's true for a lot of people. We have to do our best to try to be there for our fellow human beings. And then there were other people where I'm like, if you insist on driving into a brick wall at 80 miles an hour, it's not on me to pay the funeral expenses. You know what I'm saying? That's a Darwin Award. It's that kind of thing. And of course, whenever I titled this live stream, "Should We Eat the Stupid?" I'm sure many of you people went the same place I did, which was, the old Charlton Heston route. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, the Soylent Green route. I mean, I know. Our brains work alike. They work the same. And I saw that graphic online, and it just totally cracked me up. Anyway, sometimes the reason is that you're stupid and make bad decisions. What never ceases to shock me is the number of people who do not realize how much ignorance exists in the world. Sorry, this is scrolling up extremely quickly. If you keep taking the same actions, expecting different results, right? That's the definition of insanity. I mean, we think about the world we live in. It's the year 2019. We still have Holocaust deniers. We have people who deny the reality of the Holocaust. The overwhelming avalanche of evidence for this atrocity, this blight on human history, and yet they offensively say that it did not ever happen. It was all a manufactured event. You have people, the flat earthers are an easy target. There's a new Netflix documentary, as I understand it, where someone took a hidden camera into a flat earthers convention and actually caught on video the flat earthers debunking the flat earth sort of by accident. Now, I haven't seen the documentary, but I'm seeing some people post about it, and you should look it up on Netflix. I think it's on Netflix. I'm going to try to look it up myself. More than 30% of Americans reject the fact of evolution in the year 2019 because it doesn't seem plausible to them. But they believe the story that we were conjured and designed by a wizard in space, and we came from Adam and Eve in the garden or whatever. Because this is the United States, I would guess most people are holding to the creation myth of Genesis. Evolution of higher primates, blah, blah, blah. That's absolutely crazy. Commonalities with all living things, traceable down to the genetic level. That's stupid. That's absolutely insane. Who's crazy enough to believe that? But the idea of a dirt man and a rib woman and a talking animal in an enchanted garden, well, that makes perfect sense to me. It's crazy. Should we eat the stupid? At least they'd be a resource for the rest of us. Nutrition. Well, maybe it's junk food. I don't know. Anti-vaxxers. Anti-vaxxers. Anti-vaxxers in the year 2019 and a resurgence of measles. Oh, my God. Will ask if I have ever done anything on Dunning-Kruger. Dunning-Kruger is the phenomenon where people have the confidence of knowledge without actually possessing knowledge. This sort of hubris that, yes, I know what I'm talking about, when actually I know nothing about what I'm talking about. And it's an effect called Dunning-Kruger. It's something worth looking into if you're interested in why the ignorant often seem so confident. Thank you, Dennis. The Netflix Flat Earth documentary is called Behind the Curve. So that's on my list in the next few days. I'm going to try to single that sucker out and watch the hidden camera. I guess it's hidden. Maybe they allowed them permission to actually shoot at a flat earthers convention. And these people are evangelical. Like, I was talking to my friend Dan Batcheldor, who's an astrophysicist, and he is the author of the book Astronomy Saves the World. And he was talking about, in order to believe that the Earth is flat, it would not just have to be a conspiracy of everyone. Space programs from different continents, world leaders. It would actually have to be a conspiracy from within the or the flat Earth movement itself, because the person on one coast would have to be lying to the person on another coast about the position of the sun. The whole thing just falls apart. How is this a thing? Part of me wonders if they're all just a gigantic Poe and they're punking the rest of us. They're just getting attention. But when you see the sincerity, and I've met a few flat earthers. I met one in Chicago. The guy was absolutely sincere. The Earth is not an oblate spheroid. The Earth is not round. The Earth is flat, and I have proof. One day we'll have to get together. By the way, Einstein. Everybody likes to throw Einstein out. Anyway, back to anti-vaxxers. Did you see that meme? Here, let me pull this up real quick because I saved it for you. It wasn't a meme. It was a tweet, I guess, or a Facebook post by an anti-vax mom. And here's what she said. She said, and they blurred her name out for the article when I screenshotted it. She said, "My 3-year-old is not vaccinated, and there is currently a measles outbreak in my state. Any suggestions for precautions I can take to protect her would be very much appreciated." You got to be shitting me. What the hell? Oh, my God. And the internet crucified her. They just descended down upon her, and the comments were just razor sharp, and she pretty much had it coming. There is a satirical article at a website called thehardtimes.net. I'll just read it for you real fast because I found it amusing. Here, let me pull this up. Let's see. Yeah, there it is. It says, "I didn't vaccinate my kids, and the one who lived turned out fine. You heard me. When each of my 5 children were born, my husband and I made the decision not to pump our kids full of, quote, vaccines and, quote, preventative medicines, despite the societal pressure to do so. And today we have one perfectly fine child who lived to see her 13th birthday. If you want to hear the truth that the vaccine industry doesn't want you to know, keep reading." Well, of course we shall. "Like most mothers, I take my children's health and well-being very seriously. When my beautiful babies, who I miss so much, were born, I went with my gut and the advice of my yoga friends and didn't vaccinate them. Now I'm asking you to please do the same. I'm a mother and I read a lot of stuff on the internet. I know vaccines are approved by the FDA to prevent disease, but I'm not convinced. And I'm here to convince you to not be convinced by their, quote, science and, quote, research. Would you rather take advice from me, a real mother who raised 5 kids and still has one wonderful, beautiful teenage daughter? Or would you rather listen to the biased media, or worse, the corrupt doctors? The choice should be simple. Don't even get me started on those death peddlers. At best, doctors are snake oil salesmen trying to pump our kids full of vaccines they don't need. At worst, they're actively trying to kill our children, my friends' children, and if you're not careful, they'll come after your children. I have one perfectly healthy child, and I do not want doctors anywhere near her. As soon as my first baby was born, which I'm ashamed to say happened in a hospital, the doctors immediately tried to vaccinate him. They said they wanted to prevent the spread of diseases that I'm pretty sure they were making up. Is anyone fact-checking doctors these days? They should be. Besides, if doctors were so smart, why couldn't they cure my oldest son when he got measles? Or my second daughter when she got cholera? Where's their science when we really need it? Exactly. If they really knew about the immune system or any of these diseases, they'd know how to fix them and not just try to fill our babies with chemicals and lies. Vaccines are the number one killer of all children on the planet. They don't want you to know, but that's the truth. So please, as a mother, think before you vaccinate your child. I've raised plenty of kids, one all the way to the age of 13. Trust me when I tell you the vaccines aren't worth the risk. My beautiful daughter wasn't vaccinated, and she's just starting high school. She has lots of friends and gets awesome grades, B's and C's, proud mama. And we just found out she has polio, so she may very well be the next Stephen Hawking. Boom. That's my kind of satire right there. Of course it's satire, Jesus. Oh my God. What's that line from House when he was talking about a great business for the anti-vaxxer would be little tiny baby coffins. And he did the way it rolls out of his mouth. It just, how are we dealing with these people? How is this still happening? I'm a compassionate guy. I love people. I want to see people, including myself, reject the bad ideas and embrace the better ideas. I want to try to learn things and see the world and discover and all of those wonderful things. And I don't think that everybody who has a bad idea is a stupid person, but there are some people out there who are literally not processing with nearly enough RAM. They are not cognitively helping the species. Perhaps we should harvest them for food. I'm just saying. I don't know. Anyway, if you have a comment or question, you just sound off in the comments section. The good news is that so many of us are trying to do that very thing. We're trying to counter the bad by bringing light to it, shining a white-hot light of scrutiny upon it. Amanda said, Seth, did you happen to see the New York Post article I emailed you where the couple said God was protecting and watching? Oh, shit. I lost your comment already. And I can't, there's a glitch in my Restream chat window where I can't back up. Let me see if I can find the article, Amanda. Forgive me. By the way, it looks like I'm going to be doing a podcast here this month with a pastor. Pastor has asked if I would be on his show or he could be on mine because he wants to talk about Jesus. Okay, let's talk about Jesus. There it is. See if I can find this and pull it up for you, the viewer, and we'll experience this article together. Anyway, the pastor and I are supposed to talk at some point, and I think it may be a tandem release on his platform and mine. You know, the drill. Normally, I'll make the guarantee that it won't be edited for content and that no one's going to be unfairly spliced or anything like that. But it looks like we're going to sit down in a room because he's local, and we're going to talk about Jesus and atheism. So that ought to be interesting. I love to talk about the Bible. I really do. It's fertile ground for conversation. So that should be late March, maybe early April. I don't know. We shall see. Anyway, here's the article that she was talking about. This was posted in the New York Post, February 27th. Couple loses baby in car accident on way to hospital for his birth. A Texas family is in mourning this week after a young married couple lost their unborn son in a tragic car accident while driving to the hospital for his birth. Oh, Jesus. High school sweethearts and newlyweds Justin Mitchell of East Texas were over the moon to meet their first child, become a family of 3. Relatives told local media, but as they were driving to a hospital in Sulphur Springs, where doctors planned to induce a heavily pregnant Jessica, their car flipped. When Justin swerved to avoid a branch, then ran off the road and lay in a ditch for more than an hour, local media KWTX reported. Emergency services rushed the couple to the hospital, Jessica with a broken arm, leg, and neck, Justin with a broken pelvis and hip. Doctors operated on Jessica for 4 hours and performed an emergency cesarean, but were unable to save the baby boy who was stillborn. The Mitchells named him Sebastian before they were moved to intensive care. The couple remained in the hospital and are continuing to mourn the death of their son, sharing pictures of them holding the child's body on Facebook Tuesday. In one comment, Justin's mother wrote, "Our baby boy is perfect and in heaven." You know, I'm not going to trot on the grief of these two. I can't imagine losing a child like that. There are conversations I think we can have about how sensible it is. But I think at this moment, these two deserve compassion. So my heart goes out to them in the wake of the loss of a child. I'm very sorry to both of them that it's happened. And, you know, it's an unfair world. It's an often tumultuous and tragic world, and we have to be there for each other. So, yeah, I think I'd rather at this moment focus more on some compassion directed toward the mother and father in the wake of losing a baby. I'm so sorry. How many coffees have I had today? Rosemary says. She said, you were on fire. It's number 3. Wait, no, it's the second coffee. But, you know, I jack them up with creamer and sweetener so that it's like ethanol by the time I just like, I start to vibrate just a little bit. Let's see. Checking the chat very quickly to see if anyone else has anything on the topic we are discussing, which is obviously a tongue-in-cheek title that some people are genuinely they might be offended by. You know, I tell you something that really gets on my nerves is the stupidity of people talking about my truth. You know, my truth is this, and my truth is God, and my truth is Jesus, Allah, whatever. My truth is that there's something out there. My truth, my truth, my truth. And then your truth, and we all need to live together and hold hands together and stand in a circle, and there will be angel song, and the harps will play, and there'll be clouds that are literally parting overhead, and all those types of things. And I just think, you know, gravity is not your truth. The position of the stars in the sky, that is not your truth. It's just truth. The temperature of boiling water, you know, it's not hot for me and cold for you. The temperature is the temperature. That's truth. That's the truth of what the temperature of the water is. You know, hey, don't lick. Don't lick, Linus, or you will get the cone of shame that was made for a cat. Sorry, I looked down and I saw him starting to do that thing. He's trying to sneak in some. He's aching a little bit. I mean, you know, they put an incision in his nether regions, and it's right below the penis. It's like, I mean, any male who looks at the scar, hey, no, that is not your truth. Well, maybe pain is his truth, actually. Just hang on, pal. I'm gonna call it a day here, or at least a morning, and go and take care of him in just a few. It's like living in your house, right? If I was to call the city and I was to tell the city, look, the property taxes on my home for the entire year should be $20, because my truth is that my house is worth this much money. I'm going to devalue my house, kind of a Trumpian devaluation of properties when it suits me for tax reasons. And I call the city and I say, hey, my truth is that my house is worth, I don't know, $1,000. And my property taxes should be this much. And they would just start laughing, because that's not how truth is determined, or the facts. And granted, it may be a poor example because there's some subjectivity in the assessment of value, but relative to the value of other properties, the part of town you're in, the city that you live in, the cost of living, all those things are part of a scenario which determines value. I can't just arbitrarily walk in and just say, this is my truth, you have to respect it. And yet we're surrounded by people who do that, and they consider this a valid argument. This is my truth. And I just think, what a stupid way to live your life. If another car is driving at you at 60 miles an hour, you don't determine that the car is not coming at you at 60 miles an hour because it's simply not going to be your truth that day. I don't know. Anyway, just an exercise in the venting of frustrations. And or maybe even a rhetorical question, if the stupid really are taking up too much valuable space, maybe we just Soylent Green their asses. Soylent Green is people. Just check it'd probably be high sugar, probably low vitamin. It'd probably be the equivalent of going into a Dunkin' Donuts or something. It might fill you up, but is it really going to? I don't know. This is a very macabre kind of a conversation. Anyway, my friends, it's always good to see you, and we'll do the next show. The next show I'm doing is with Dr. Valerie Tirico. It's going to release to patrons on Sunday, and it will release to everybody else on Tuesday. Of course, my beautiful, wonderful, amazing patrons get a commercial-free version of the broadcast. And if you are not a patron, thanks for the support. If you would become a patron at patreon.com/Seth Andrews, okay? And somebody told me that I needed to put some kind of a signal or something at the end of the live stream so that it's over. So I will do so. I'll throw the logo up for a couple of seconds, and I will see you next time. Thanks for watching and listening.